Hey guys, what's up? All right, so today we are going to get right into it. You guys highly requested this one. Why we get menopause belly fat despite doing all the right things. So, first, I think it's important to just have like a basic understanding of what's going on in the body and why that is for many women. So, as we're entering into perimenopause, obviously our hormones are changing. And what's happening? Our estrogen's fluctuating, our progesterone's going down. And with that, cortisol, our stress hormone, is going up. Now, cortisol is famously known for putting fat right on the belly, the menopause belly, right? With this lovely combination, this can make our body more resistant to insulin. So basically, what that means is normally when we eat, our insulin is what brings our food up into our cells to be used as energy. As we're going through these hormonal shifts, our body can become more resistant to that. So basically, instead of our body being utilized very efficiently as energy, our food is instead kind of being stored as fat. So we got to do a couple of things. We need to make sure that our body is becoming more sensitive to that insulin so that we can burn everything off as fuel instead of storing it as fat. So these are kind of the hormonal fluctuations that are happening. So it's not just you, your body's not broken. This is an actual thing that's happening. So we just need to learn to work with it. Now, many of you are saying, but I'm doing all the right things. Why is this happening? But here's the thing, you're doing all the right things for your 25-year-old body, not your 45-year-old body, or 40 or 45 or 50 or 55. So, and even then, I would argue that these things are not the right things anyway. And the most common ones, of course, are intermittent fasting, eliminating carbs, strict calorie counting, hours of it, like cardio. I would argue these aren't the right things for anybody, but our bodies can put up with a lot more when they're younger. We can adapt, but then we turn into perimenopause and menopause, and our body just can't adjust as well. It can't do that. So it's not about being inevitable for weight gain. What it comes down to now is just simply being strategic and working within an understanding of these hormonal shifts. And I'm going to give you a quick example. So if you don't know my story, I think I shared it last week again, but I had a 50-pound up and down weight loss my whole adult life, got fed up, finally lost the weight 20 years ago for good. And that was through going to nutrition school and learning the science behind it and applying that so I could eat plenty of food and keep my weight off. Here's what happened. I did that successfully for 20 years. And then when I turned 50, I suddenly was getting a fluffy belly. And if you don't know my story, I'm Canadian living in Mexico. So I'm in a bikini all the time, like almost every day. So having a fluffy belly was not ideal for me. Plus, I have already been overweight and I saw my belly start getting a little bit chubby. And I was like, yeah, no, this is not going to happen to me again. I don't like the feeling of having extra weight. And that level is different for all of us, right? But I don't like the feeling. I know what it feels like, and I'm not going back there. So I nipped that in the bud real quick, and I'll tell you exactly what was happening. So obviously, I'm 51 now. I'm quite obviously going through these hormonal changes myself. And what happened is that when I lost the weight 20 years ago and kept it off, over time, it just became second nature to me. And so I was eating very intuitively for many years and keeping the weight off. And a couple of those things, I'll tell you exactly what they were. And when I started getting a fluffy belly when I was 50, is I then dove deeper. I'm like, why the heck is it happening? Like, I haven't changed anything. So when you're telling me you haven't changed anything, I get it, because that happened to me too. I hadn't changed anything, and I was getting this little bit of a belly. Um, and when I dug deeper into the hormonal shifts and all this, I was like, ah. So I just changed a couple things, and the weight ripped off my belly really quickly. Now, keep in mind, it might not happen that quickly for everybody else because I had everything else dialed in, and I didn't have a lot of weight to lose. I don't even know. It was like 3, 4 pounds. Like, it was nothing, but I just saw it creeping up. So that's why I was like, let me take care of this right away. So as I dove deeper into the science for women specifically dealing with perimenopausal weight gain, here's what I was doing that had worked for me for years that was working against me when I was 50. I was eating so intuitively. So a lot of mornings, some mornings I got up and ate right away if I was hungry. Some mornings I was like getting busy. I didn't really feel like eating right away. So I would just have coffee. And I would just eat when I was hungry. And it worked forever. Like I said, some mornings I ate breakfast, some mornings I didn't. It just depended on how I was feeling. Now, as we go into perimenopause, we need to be a little bit more strategic because our cortisol is quite high in the mornings. And we want to cut through that cortisol because that's what puts weight on the belly. So for me, again, I had everything else pretty much dialed in tight, but I'm going to give you these examples. So I made it a point to then not have coffee on an empty stomach because that was raising my cortisol even more, belly fat, that fluffy belly. And then the other thing I did is I made sure that I was balancing my blood sugar properly first thing in the morning. So within an hour of waking, I'm having 30 grams of protein. And so for me, those are just the two things that I adjusted, and the weight came right off. So it's not about doing everything right in general. It's about doing everything right for this age group to work with these hormonal shifts. So when you think you're doing everything right, I was that woman. I was doing everything right. It kept the weight off for 20 years, but it wasn't right for this age. So you want to take a look at that. Are you doing what's right for your 25-year-old body, or are you doing what's right for your 45, 50-year-old body? That's all. And it's just having these simple understandings and making these shifts. Now, a lot of common ones that I already mentioned that I see us women in this age group doing are intermittent fasting. It does not work for women in this age group. In fact, it can very much work against you. Strict calorie counting doesn't work in this age group and can very much work against you because it's seen as stressful to the body, increases that cortisol, and eliminating carbs is a big no-no. You're starving yourself and being miserable for absolutely no reason. It's working against you. Eat carbs. So for this reason, I created a guide for you guys. It's free. And it is basically how to unlock the secrets of fat loss over 40 through carbs, because I see this one so often and I feel so bad. You're out there starving and you don't need to starve. And when we don't have carbs, it affects our mood, it affects our energy level, it affects our gut health, it affects everything. And of course, it affects our fat loss. So I put this together for you for free to help you out. It lists what carbs are good to have, what carbs to avoid, when you want to be eating them, and some meals that you can put together with the right carbs for fat loss at this age. So if you want the guide, just comment below carbs. That's it, CARBS, and I will send it over to you. I hope you found this helpful, and also leave a comment and let me know, did you find this helpful? What helped you the most? And again, it's not that your body is broken, it's just changing, and we just need to change the strategy. So when you're doing everything right for fat loss, but you're still getting menopause belly, you're doing everything your 25-year-old body could handle, not your 45 and up body. So anyway, I hope that helps you guys. If you want the free carbs guide that I put lovingly together for you, just comment below carbs and I will gladly send that over to you. And I'm sure that you will find it very helpful and you'll be happier. Eat some carbs. Bye.